something that you love that's not family or friends?
I love, I'm just saying this because it's on my mind, the trans children.
Saying transgender kids is crazy. This man is James Talarico, and he is a nutjob Presbyterian pastor who is running for Senate in the state of Texas and just won the Democratic nomination. We are going to go through some of the insane clips from this guy, and whether or not you live in Texas, this is very much something that we all need to look into because this is the direction that the Democratic Party is moving towards. Here's James Talarico's campaign page, and to be honest, he kind of looks like lesbian. This was Brett Cooper's joke, but now I cannot unsee it. It's hilarious. Meet James Talarico. James is an 8th generation Texan, former middle school teacher, and Presbyterian seminarian. As a state representative, he's led the fight against the billion mega donors and puppet politicians who have taken over Texas. Now he's running for U.S. Senate to take his fight against corruption to Washington and win power back for working people. One thing to immediately note is that he is a former middle school teacher who just said that he loves trans kids, which honestly, this says so much about the type of people that are now teaching our children. And listen, I don't care about the transgender issue that much, really, but we should all agree that we have to keep the children out of this. It's ridiculous. But really, that's besides the point. He's clearly trying to position himself as a moderate Christian Democrat, and he's looking to win the vote of the more moderate demographic of Texas. Let's look at his beliefs and find out if this guy is actually a moderate Democrat. Slight spoiler, he is not at all. So here is a post by Lance Gooden. It says, a recap of what James Talarico believes. Jesus Christ was a radical feminist. White men are the greatest terror threat. There are 6 biological sexes. The border should be a front porch. Atheists are more Christian-like than Christians. Then he says Talarico is too woke, which we'll get there, but he is too woke. So let's watch this video.
Did they teach you in Sunday school that Jesus Christ himself was a radical feminist?
So no, Jesus Christ was not a radical feminist. Feminism did not exist until the 1900s. So this is just so retarded, and it feels so disgusting to call Jesus a radical feminist.
God is both masculine and feminine and everything in between. God is non-binary.
God represents something far beyond us, but to call God non-binary is completely ridiculous. I honestly thought we were done and we were past this fucking woke bullshit, but apparently not.
We should treat our southern border like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front.
The primary reason Trump got elected was because of the mass immigration problem. And yes, it is a big problem. And now this guy here is running for the Senate in Texas, which is pretty much the border state. And he is saying, well, we should just let everyone in and we should have a welcome mat for everybody. This is not what the American people want. This is not what Texans want. And it's very dangerous, but this guy won the Democratic primary. And that tells us everything we need to know.
I want us all to be aware of is that modern science obviously recognizes that there are many more than 2 biological sexes. In fact, there are 6, which honestly, Representative Hefner surprised me too. Surprised me too, because I am not well versed in this issue area. I'm not a scientist. I'm a politician. A lot worse than a scientist.
No, you're not a scientist. You're a politician. Exactly. There are not many biological sexes. There are men and there are women. And then there is a very small percentage of people who are intersex due to birth deviations. And this is so disappointing because this is such a stupid issue. It really doesn't matter. But it's kind of an indicator that prime 2020 woke is making a comeback. I thought we beat this ridiculousness out of them, but it turns out they just can't help themselves. All right, it's safe to say that this guy is not moderate at all. He is very much consumed by prime 2020 woke ideology. He wants open borders, he is calling God non-binary, and he is saying that Jesus would have been a radical feminist. Which it's so frustrating because just leave modern political ideology out of religion. It does not need to be brought into this. It's so frustrating to see, and especially from someone who is a pastor. And he's talking about multiple sexes and his love of transgender children. He is not moderate at all. He is extremely woke, and do not fall for the propaganda that says otherwise. Now, I thought woke ideology was going to die out after the 2024 election, and Democrats were going to be reined back in and move back towards the middle as a result of everyone seeing just how far they moved to the left, how radically left they became. But no, they did not learn their lesson. And again, they just cannot help themselves. Honestly, I'm a bit worried and I'm a bit disappointed. How have we allowed this woke ideology to endure? We had a clear victory and now it's slipping through our grasp. And I do think we have to criticize the current administration for allowing this to happen because of the way that they fumbled everything to do with the Epstein files, not really following through on the mass deportations that were promised. And now we find ourselves in a war with Iran, which I'm actually kind of a fan of. But all of this has severely divided the Republican Party. Here is my worry about the Republican Party going forward. There are what seems to be poison pill ideologies popping up on the right, and there is a lot of infighting. It is important to keep the current administration and the right in general accountable for what it does, but this whole accelerationist movement is very dangerous, and it's completely refuted, in my opinion, by the very fact that there are still white liberals in South Africa after everything that has happened. So this whole idea that we have to make our country worse and we have to destroy our country so that more people wake up and we can have our big revolution is such a foolish idea. These people will never see it our way. There could be open executions of white people in the streets, and people on the woke left would still find a way to defend it. I could see the headline now, yes, white people are dying, but here's why we deserve it. Or here's why it's a good thing. And they would say something like, well, slavery, so yeah, of course we deserve it. Accelerationism will destroy our country, and it will never get better if we go down this path. Do not fall for this ideology. It's very dangerous. So James Talarico is a symptom of a much larger disease that is woke ideology. It's like we beat cancer once in the past, but we didn't quite get rid of all of it. And now it's back, and it's back in Texas, which is a moderate to right-leaning state. Just imagine what this new woke is going to look like in a more left-leaning state like California. It's very worrying and it's very disappointing. And this is my biggest criticism of the current administration, is that it feels like they have completely boned the future of the right by not following through on what the American people voted for. If you live in Texas, make sure you get out and vote when the time comes, and do not be fooled. James Talarico is not a moderate. He is far left. He is woke left. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you.